I like them when they're under 100 yards.
I do too.
Yes. Stuff gets up in these brakes.
Oh yeah.
It can put a little pressure on you when you're told you're first up on a hunt, but it all worked out. In my case, I tagged my deer just 30 minutes into the hunt. We'd actually been able to locate deer very quickly, put a failed stalk on some, pushed them into another section of the same block of grapes, and was able to circle around, sneak in, and get about a 90 to 100 yard shot on a beautiful Columbian Black-Tailed buck. It was over fast, but as Ryan Newkirk, our guide at Hunt Steinbeck, said, Ryan's the sixth generation, I believe, of the Steinbeck family. He's also the vineyard manager. He said, well, it gives you a chance to do a little bit of day drinking. And that's talking about the Steinbeck tradition. They call it wine by 9. If you shoot a deer early in the morning, you bring it back, you skin it, and you open up a bottle of wine from the block of grapes where you shot the deer. In my case, it was a Cabernet Sauvignon. We opened up a delicious bottle of 2017 Cabernet Sauvignon, shared it among all the hunters, and it was just an incredible experience. I was a bit amazed that the buck that I was targeting gave us such a long look. It was an extremely severe quartering away shot, but I thought it was makeable. I got the deer in the crosshairs, found the perfect aiming point, touched off the trigger. I love that Mossberg trigger. And the deer was hit hard, and as soon as I shot, other bucks started erupting from the vines all around them, and my deer ran off only across 2 vines and collapsed maybe 30, 40 yards from where he was shot. It was a good, strong quartering away shot, entering through the left side back ribs, and then traveling all the way through the deer, about 3 feet of deer, and lodging in the right front shoulder. That Barnes 127 grain copper Vortex LR bullet really held together and mushroomed perfectly with the copper petals. Shooting off the sticks too, shooting off shooting sticks like we did. The only thing I can equate it to is hunting in Africa. That's the closest, where you basically put a stalk on a target animal. You try to work your way in close enough. Your guide or someone sets the shooting sticks, you move in, get your gun in position, and shoot. It was very much like an African experience in that regard. Now, our hunting adventure at Paso Robles opened up with an incredible feast there at Hunt Steinbeck. Ryan put on something he called a flip-flop, which is a black-tailed hind quarter, and it was cooked over high heat on a grill. And what he would do is he'd baste it with this special flip-flop sauce, would flip it over on the grill, and then take a knife and just shave off little thin pieces that were so tender and flavorful. It was just an incredible meal, but everything we had during that trip was just fantastic. We also had Brooks Hansen of Camp Chef with us. Brooks is a wonderful outdoor cook, and he knows how to use all the tools that Camp Chef makes for some great outdoor cooking and grilling, smoking, everything. And he put together a couple of the most fantastic elk and venison recipes I think I've ever had. Everybody in camp just thought he knocked it out of the park. We were all hunting with Mossberg Patriot rifles, chambered in various configurations. Larry Weissoon and Fred Masterson, they hunted together, and they shared a rifle that Fred brought, and it was the Patriot Tactical long-range rifle, and it was chambered in 6.5 Creedmoor. They both made shots about 150 yards on their deer after putting on some very careful stalks, some really good shooting. I was paired with Aaron Von Benedict. Aaron's a rancher from Arizona, also an outdoor writer, and he was using a Patriot rifle chambered in .308 Winchester. He got his buck at the very end of daylight after a couple really long stalks through the vines. It was kind of neat because we had to cross a swale, cross a road, then go up a hill and nestle in between the vines and look into another section to monitor the deer as they were moving through. And Ryan was calling out the deer as they moved through the vines. You know, that's the shooter, that's not the shooter. We had to wait till the deer cleared, and hopefully he would step into the opening by himself, and he did. And Aaron made a great shot on him at about 200 plus yards, maybe closer to 250. Brooks Hansen also took a nice blacktail, also at the very end of daylight. His deer ended up being the widest of the hunt. It was a really nice, mature Columbian blacktail. Before the hunt, we first zeroed the rifle in Virginia under some extremely hot and humid conditions. It was up in the mid-90s with really high humidity, made for a very hot barrel, some tough shooting, and getting it zeroed. A lot of cooling off time between shots. But then when we brought the gun to California, we all took test shots at a range that Hunt Steinbeck has set up, and after a few shots, I was confident that my gun was dialed in enough to do the job, and it certainly proved that way. And my rifle was set up with a Riton 5 primal scope on it. It's a 2 to 12 by 44 millimeter objective, and I picked that scope because it's lightweight. I was told that the shots in the vineyard likely wouldn't exceed 250 yards, and so I didn't need something with exceptionally high magnification, but I didn't know if we would have to do a lot of stalking and a lot of walking, so I opted for a lighter version to carry, and it worked out really well at those distances that we were shooting. Now though, I think I'm gonna keep the gun through the Virginia deer season, and I'm gonna swap it out with a Rambler 3. And this is a scope that is goes to 18 power magnification. It has a 50 millimeter objective and an illuminated reticle, something I really like as I'm getting older. And since most of my hunting is going to be in box blinds or in elevated ladder stands, this will give me a good setup to be able to reach out across these bean fields and other places I hunt and dial in on some long distance whitetails. After the hunt, I was talking with Larry, Linda, Fred Masterson for a podcast Larry was putting together, and he was asking about, how this hunt stacked up and what we thought about. And I said, every hunt has a bit of a sense of a hunt of a lifetime because it's a new experience, new people, new places. But this truly was a hunt of a lifetime. When you talk about hunting in the vineyards, the incredible opportunities and challenges that presented, the wonderful food that we experienced, that's always a big part of my trips. And the people that we were with, it really was a hunt of a lifetime.